Hey everyone, it's Hailey, and today I'm going to be talking about my August TBR. So I am being way over ambitious with this TBR, especially considering the fact that in July, if it weren't for Booktubeathon, I would have read one book. I don't know what it was last month, but I just didn't feel like reading. I think a big part of it was because I had so many books to read, like so many books on my TBR that I do want to read, but I just don't have the time to read all the books in the world as much as I wish I did. So I kind of came to terms with that fact and I decided to purge through my TBRs. So I have some unhaul videos that might be up already, might be coming soon, don't really know, but I'm really trying to curate my reading list to only books that I am very, very, very interested in, because ultimately I don't want to spend all of my time reading. As much as that sounds like the best thing that I could possibly do, it gets really exhausting, especially since I have a very short attention span. So I finished writing my novel at the beginning of July, and then I had plans to spend the rest of July just reading all of the books, and I got to one. So now I am going to revisit my novel and start editing, so I don't know how that is going to go. I don't know how much reading time I'm going to have, but hopefully I'll have a lot because I've got a lot of books here. I definitely will not get to all of these, but I'm going to try and get to as many as I can. So I'll start with the September arcs that I have because I'm going to try and be a little bit better about reading arcs before they come out because I am so bad at that recently. It's especially going to be helpful if I can get ahead of that before October comes, because September, October are huge months for young adult new releases because it's almost Christmas. So it's like all the sequels, all of the books are coming out in this time period, and I'm not going to possibly be able to get to all of them, but I'd like to be able to get to as many as I can. So getting to my September arcs, first we have Pride by Ibi Zoboi. This is a Pride and Prejudice retelling, but it is like, it says something on here that I think is funny. It's a truth universally acknowledged that when rich people move into the hood, where it's a little bit broken and a little bit forgotten, the first thing they want to do is clean it up. So it is set against the backdrop of Brooklyn, and I think is going to be a very fun read. I really enjoyed Ibi Zoboi's other novels, so I think I'll like this one. Next is A Blade So Black by L.L. McKinney, which is described as Alice in Wonderland meets Buffy the Vampire, so like, yes please. I honestly never watched Buffy and I don't know like anything about it, but that combination does sound really cool, plus I'm all for an Alice in Wonderland retelling. Quite a few of you have requested a recommendations video for Alice in Wonderland retellings recently, and don't worry, it will be coming. I just have a couple on my TBR that I do want to read before I do that video, so I can fully do my research. Next is A Winter's Promise by Christelle Dubose. This is a translation from a French novel, and I'm really not sure how I'm going to feel about this. It's going to be really interesting because the only translation that I've read of a YA like recent novel has been Kirsten Gear's novels, and I didn't like them so much, so I don't know how this one will go, but we'll see. Next is The War Outside by Monica Hesse. This is the author of The Girl in the Blue Coat, which is one of my favorite historical fictions, and that one was set in Amsterdam, but this one is also set in World War II, like that one was, but this one I believe deals with, yes, it deals with America and the Pacific theater of the war. So I don't think I've ever read anything about the Pacific side of World War II, so that's going to be very interesting, and this deals with family internment camps, which is going to be another interesting aspect to the story. Next is Escaping from Houdini by Kerri Maniscalco. I might wait until the finished copy comes out for this book because a few people let me know, but she changed the ending from what it is in the arc. So I think I might read the finished copy and then read the arc to see what she changed, because I think that would be interesting, but I don't really see a point in reading a story and getting attached to an ending when it's going to change in the final product. So I don't know what I'm going to do for this one, we shall see, but I am still so excited for it. It is definitely one of my most anticipated releases of this year. Next is Imposters by Scott Westerfeld. This is a companion, I believe, novel to the Ugly series, which is probably the first like trilogy that I loved as a kid. I was obsessed. And that's saying a lot because I wasn't a big reader as a kid. But I am very excited to revisit this world. I just don't know if I should like reread the other books in this series before diving into this one. This, I believe, deals with different characters, so I'll do a little bit more research and then see where I fall on that. Next is Rule by Ellen Goodlett. This is described as Pretty Little Liars meets King Lear, which is just so fascinating to me. I'm very intrigued to see where that combination determination is going to go and how it will fold out in this story. When we went to the novelty event when I was in New York for Book Expo, this book sounded very cool, so I knew that it was one of the 3 that I wanted to request, and now I can't wait to read it. Next, I have 3 October arcs here because, like I said, October is a very big month for new releases in YA, so I want to try and get a head start on some of the arcs because I have a lot. So first is Dear Evan Hansen by Val Emmich with Stephen Levinson, Ben Pasek, and Justin Paul, creators of the hit Broadway show. I haven't listened to the soundtrack for Dear Evan Hansen. I think I might listen to it before or maybe after this. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I know I have heard nothing but amazing things about it, so I am excited to see what the novelization of it is going to be, especially since I don't really know much about the Broadway show. Next is, of course, Bridge of Clay by Markus Zusak. I know a lot of you are probably thinking that I am crazy for not having read this yet, especially since I am such a huge fan of The Book Thief, but that's the thing, I didn't want to just read it and rush through it. I wanted to be able to truly dedicate myself to the story and get lost in it. So I still haven't found the time to do that quite yet, especially since it has really small font and it is quite a big book. But I'm very excited to finally be able to do that. I'm super nervous as well because if I don't like it, that's going to be tragic, but I can't put it off forever and I really would like to read it before it comes out, so this one is high priority on this list. Next is What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera, the highly anticipated contemporary collaboration that everyone has been dreaming about. I've heard some amazing things from people who have read this and I'm so excited to dive into it myself. It should be a pretty quick read, so I don't think I'll have any trouble getting to this one. But all I know about it is it starts with a breakup and it's probably going to have Becky's fun side and then Adam's just heartbreaking side, so it's gonna be an interesting combo and I'm excited to see how it goes. Finally, I have just a few books here that have been catching my eye as of late and I would like to get to, but I have so many arcs to read that who knows. I will probably be taking the audiobook route for most of these since I have just so much to read. So next is Wicked Like a Wildfire by Lana Popovich. I have put this book off for a very long time. I've had it for a year now and I think I just need to try it and see if I will like it. I was considering getting rid of this book, but the cover, one, is one of my favorite book covers ever, and 2, the synopsis sounds like it could go one of 2 ways. 1, it sounds like The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton, which I loved, but 2, it also sounds like Wild Beauty by Anna Marie McLemore, which I didn't like. So I'm obviously hoping it will go the way of Ava Lavender, but I'm not really sure, so I do really want to try it out. It seems like kind of a fantasy, magical realism sort of thing, and I genuinely think I could enjoy it, so I would just like to try it, and then if I'm not enjoying it, I'm gonna DNF it. Next is Of Fire and Stars by Audrey Coulter. This is a similar story because I have had it for a very long time, 2 years now, and I have been intrigued by the premise. It's all about this princess who goes to marry this prince but ends up falling for the prince's sister instead, which just sounds so fun. And I did start the audiobook at one point, but I ended up putting it down, but what I listened to, I enjoyed, so I think I will probably try and revisit this audiobook very soon. Next is Legendary by Stephenie Garber. This I also started listening to the audiobook, but I'm gonna have to start over now since Booktubeathon came along and I wanted to start with a fresh audiobook, and now I forget what happened in here because my memory is that bad when it comes to books, honestly. But this is the highly anticipated sequel to Caraval, and I've heard a lot of people say it's even better than Caraval, and I really liked Caraval, so I'm very anxious to get to this. I do remember I was enjoying the audiobook, but I'm gonna have to start over, but it's fine. It's a very fun world to get lost in, and I love the fact that this is from Scarlett's perspective now. And by Scarlett, I mean Donatella. Like I said, I literally cannot remember anything, and characters' names are one of those things. And the final book on this TBR, I'm sure you can guess if you have watched recent TBRs. I still haven't read it. I think I'm gonna go the audiobook route because quite a few people have recommended it to me, but I really just need to read this book because it is ridiculous that I haven't read it yet, and that is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. This has been on my TBR for so long, and so many people love it, and I hear nothing but amazing things about it, and I think I'm just afraid to read it because there is so much hype and I want to love it. That doesn't necessarily mean that I will, but it is also a really big book, so it's intimidating to me, but I need to bite the bullet and read it. So August has to be the month that I read this because it is ridiculous that I haven't read it yet. So those are all of the books on my TBR for August. Like I said, it's a tall order and we'll see how I do. Probably not well, but I'm hoping for the best. This month is going to be a little bit different because I am going to encourage myself to start DNFing books. If I'm not enjoying a book by 100 pages, I don't want to be wasting my time with it anymore because I have so many other books that I want to read. There are so many books that I haven't liked that I I've just pushed through, and it's hard because I want to read all of the books, but I can't possibly do that, and I'm trying to train myself to accept that fact and just spend the time on books that I will like. So August is going to be interesting, hopefully in a good way, but who really knows? But please let me know what is on your August TBR, or if you have read any of these books, your thoughts on them. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and click that little bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I post. I put up new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can also follow all of my social media. All of my handles and links and all of that stuff will be down below for you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!